What if the one thing stopping you from achieving your dream is the dream of a perfect start? There is a silent ache that many of us carry. It's the weight of the unstarted. It lives in the ghost of the novel you dream of writing. Its first chapter still a blank page. It echoes in the silence of the workshop where the tools for your business idea gather dust. It's the phantom limb of the person you could become if only you started learning that skill, that language, that instrument. This isn't a fleeting feeling. It's a chronic condition of modern life, a quiet epidemic of potential locked away. We have access to more information and more opportunities than any generation in history, yet we find ourselves paralyzed, standing at the edge of a vast ocean of possibility, afraid to get our feet wet. Our minds become magnificent, ornate prisons, decorated with brilliant ideas that never see the light of day. We become curators of a museum of dreams that will never be realized. Why does this happen? Why do we, with full intention and desire, become the primary obstacle to our own progress? The answer lies in a deeply ingrained, insidious lie we've been told and continue to tell ourselves. The lie that we must be perfectly ready before we can begin. Today, we are not here to assign blame. We are here to stage a jailbreak. The purpose of this journey is not to shame you for the wait, but to liberate you from it, to hand you the key that unlocks the door. I am going to share with you the 5 fundamental traps of inaction. These are not mere excuses. They are sophisticated psychological cages, arguments that sound like profound wisdom, but are, in reality, just the voice of fear, wearing a clever disguise. By the time we reach the end, you will see with absolute clarity that the only thing separating you from your most ambitious goals is the courage to embrace the awkward, imperfect, and essential act of being a beginner. If this message already resonates with the part of you that is tired of waiting, support this channel by leaving a like so this idea can reach others who are also standing still, waiting for a permission slip that will never come. The truth is, your mind is a master architect of rationalizations. It builds convincing arguments for staying right where you are. But today, we will expose the blueprints. We will dismantle these structures, brick by brick, until nothing is left standing between you and the first step. The first and most common trap is the seductive belief that you need the ideal equipment to start. You tell yourself you need that professional-grade camera before you can start your YouTube channel. You need the fastest laptop on the market to write your code. You need the expensive, high-end running shoes before you can take up jogging. This trap manifests in a deceptive form of action. Research. You spend weeks, even months, diving into online reviews, comparing specifications, watching tutorial videos for software you don't even own yet. This feels productive. It feels like you are working on your goal. But in reality, you are simply polishing the bars of your cage. You are engaged in a comforting form of procrastination because it allows you to delay the one thing you truly fear, the verdict on your actual work. The underlying psychology is a fear of accountability. We think, if I only had better tools, my work would be better. This protects our ego. The unspoken fear is, what if I get the best tools and my work is still not good enough? Then there is no one and nothing to blame but myself. The lesson here was stated perfectly by the great tennis player Arthur Ashe, who said, "Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Your progress is not determined by the quality of your gear, but by the quantity of your effort. The writer who begins with a simple pen and notebook builds momentum. The filmmaker who shoots a short film on their phone learns the principles of storytelling. The musician who learns on a second-hand guitar masters the chords. Action is the true catalyst. By starting with what is available to you right now, you ignite a powerful flywheel of momentum. You begin to learn, to iterate, and to discover what you actually need along the way, rather than what you think you need from a standstill. The perfect tools are not a prerequisite for starting. They are a reward for having started. The second trap is perhaps the most paralyzing and paradoxical of all. The belief that you need to be a professional before you are allowed to be a beginner. You feel its grip when you want to learn a new language, but remain silent, terrified of mispronouncing a word and sounding foolish. You see it when you want to start a podcast, but listen to seasoned veterans and think, I could never be that articulate. My voice isn't right. I don't know enough. You are comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 and using it as a reason to never write your own book. This mindset is a direct path to permanent inaction, because the universal starting point for everyone in every field is ignorance. Not knowing is not a bug. It is the essential feature of the learning process. Imagine trying to become a swimmer by reading every book on fluid dynamics and memorizing the biographies of Olympic athletes, but refusing to ever get in the water. It's absurd, yet this is precisely what we do with our creative and professional ambitions. The Japanese have a concept called shoshin, which translates to beginner's mind. It refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, and a lack of preconceptions when studying a subject, even when studying at an advanced level. This is the mindset we must adopt. The lesson is to shift your goal. Your objective on day 1 is not to be an expert, it is to be a learner. Your goal is not to be flawless, it is to be present and to try. Every master you admire was once a disaster. Every expert was once a novice who had the courage to embrace the discomfort of not knowing and the humility to make public mistakes. That is the price of admission for acquiring any skill worth having. The third trap is a silent poison that seeps into our lives: the lack of a final deadline. In school, you submitted the essay at the last minute because there was a due date. At work, you complete the project because there is a presentation scheduled. You are conditioned to act under external pressure. But what about your dreams? What is the deadline for writing your novel, for starting your own company, for getting in shape? There is none. And if your primary mode of operation is to respond to urgency, what happens when no external urgency exists? As the old saying by Edward Young goes, procrastination is the thief of time. This trap manifests in the comforting phrase, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when things slow down, or next year is my year. But these tomorrows become a vast, nebulous graveyard where our best intentions go to die. We operate under the illusion that the future is an empty repository of time waiting for us. It's not. It will be filled with the same complexities, distractions, and obligations as today. This phenomenon is explained in part by Parkinson's law, which states that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. When the time for your personal project is infinite, the work of starting it also expands infinitely. The lesson is that you must become your own project manager. You must create your own urgency. Treat your dream with the seriousness of a critical business meeting. Schedule a non-negotiable appointment with your destiny in your calendar. Set a tiny, achievable deadline. By Friday, I will write 100 words. By Sunday, I will spend 20 minutes researching one competitor. Small, concrete deadlines create the structure within which action can finally occur. You have to be the one to draw the line in the sand. Trap 4. The trap of needing inspiration. The myth of the Muse. The fourth trap is our romanticized attachment to the idea of inspiration. We believe that to begin, we must be visited by a muse, struck by a divine bolt of motivation that makes the work effortless and joyful. This trap manifests as passive consumption. You wait to feel like it. So you watch another motivational video, read another book about creativity, or listen to another podcast about entrepreneurship, hoping that someone else's fire will eventually ignite your own. You are waiting for the perfect emotional state to align with the perfect idea. But this is a profound misunderstanding of how creativity and productivity work. The legendary artist Chuck Close summarized the professional mindset perfectly when he said, "Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work." The lesson is this: motivation is not the cause of action. It is a byproduct of action. The smallest, most mundane step forward creates a tiny spark of momentum. That spark generates a little bit of energy and a feeling of accomplishment, which in turn fuels the next step. Inspiration is not a lightning strike. It's a fire you build yourself, one small twig at a time. Discipline is the tool that gets you started when motivation is absent. Discipline is the system that bypasses your mood and says, "It's 9 a.m. It's time to write for 15 minutes. How I feel about it is irrelevant." By being the one who shows up, even when you don't feel like it, you become the source of your own fire. You create your own muse. Finally, the fifth and most critical trap, the belief that the first step must be a grand, flawless leap in the right direction. We build up the start in our minds to be this monumental event. We think the first chapter has to be perfect. The first video has to go viral. The first workout has to be intense. This all-or-nothing thinking creates such immense pressure that the easiest option becomes to do nothing at all. The fear of an imperfect start leads to no start. Think of it like this. No architect expects the first foundation stone of a cathedral to be the most beautiful or perfectly placed one. Its only job is to be the first. Its purpose is simply to exist, so the second stone can be laid. The lesson here is to radically redefine the goal of your first step. Its purpose is not quality. Its purpose is not excellence. Its sole, non-negotiable purpose is to break inertia. That's it. Give yourself permission to be gloriously mediocres at the beginning. Write a terrible first paragraph. Record a shaky, awkward video. Make a clunky first sales call. This is the concept of a minimum viable product applied to your life. What is the smallest, messiest version of your goal that you can execute right now? That is your starting point. In the fertile ground of that imperfection, all future growth is born. And so, we see the architecture of our own inaction. It is built upon these 5 pillars. These lies that sound so much like truth. The lie of the perfect tools, the lie of the expert, the lie of tomorrow's infinite time, the lie of the passive muse, and the lie of the flawless beginning. They are the shadows that vanish the moment you turn on the light of action. The ultimate message is this: the perfect moment you are waiting for will never arrive. It doesn't exist. The stars will never perfectly align. You will never have enough time, enough money, or enough knowledge. This is not a tragedy. It is a liberation. It frees you from the burden of waiting. The greatest obstacle in your life is not your circumstances. It is the 1-meter journey from your mind to your hands. It is the longest, most treacherous road you will ever travel. No one is coming to give you a deadline for your dream. No one is coming to push you off the ledge. That sacred, terrifying responsibility is yours alone. Understanding this allows you to have the audacity, the foolish impulse, to simply begin now with what you have from where you are. Because starting is the only way to arrive at a different place. So I will ask you directly, which of these 5 traps has held you captive for the longest? Be honest with yourself and share it in the comments below. Your story might just be the key that frees someone else from their own prison. And if this video gave you the push you needed, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to support this message. Your journey starts now.